I just went right by it. I realized I had the GoPro running on the truck as I came on the approach to this little spot, and I was just thinking about what the GoPro was seeing. The thing that I noticed a lot is these dry washes. I keep seeing these dry washes, these places where water obviously runs. I noticed that many of the roads and trails that I took, you know, it's a road, and then for a while it will actually drop down, and the actual road map data shows you following the wash for a while, and then you pull back out of it and drop back in, sometimes back out. Lots of interaction between roads and washes, and also a few times where I simply made a mistake and missed that the road was going there, and I just kept following the wash because they look like roads. And a lot of times you can see tire tracks in many of them where people have driven in them. When is there water in these, and how do you drive these trails if there's water coming down these washes?
There's almost never water in them. Most of the washes that you're going to see are only outlets for flash flooding. So when there's a lot of rain that comes, they'll flash flood through. A lot of like the rock areas in Utah, when water hits that rock, it just sheds straight off of it.
Okay.
And so it's all funneling it into the desert, and then the water's just trying to find somewhere to go. And so it will go and it'll just gush everywhere. So it's really rare to find water in them.
Okay.
If you're seeing water in some of these dry washes, you have really recent rain, or it's raining right now somewhere else and it's finally just making its way.
Okay.
If you see water in them, you should be careful, because even if it is low, it's kind of like the tide. It's going to come in big.
Gotcha.
Right? And so, although it's not like the tide, and it comes in fast a lot of times, but it's just going to get bigger and potentially bigger and bigger and bigger, and you never know.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you see a little stream coming, that means there could be a ton of water coming.
I almost missed this, hidden in a grove of trees and scrub. I hadn't spotted this old homestead when I was scouring satellite imagery planning this trip. This whole site is pretty nicely preserved. In addition to the main home, there are still corrals and animal shelters standing out here. Well, this is the road, and I did know on the map that I was going to have to cross this creek. It looks a little deep there out in the middle. And that exit, oh my gosh, it is really, really steep.
The water's murky. It made it look deep, but it's not very deep at all. Also, just to maximize my traction here, I'm going to let even more air out of the tires. It was a little bit aired down, but not too much, because I keep getting on and off of highways and the terrain hasn't been too bad. But here, I'm just going to take them down, maximize my traction. All right, so I took the tires down to 18 PSI. That's going to make for a long air up tomorrow. I'm not worried at all about the creek. It's just getting up that sandy, steep embankment. Wow, it's only 10:45 in the morning. I feel like I've already put in a full day. Starting super early at Goblin Valley this morning and spending a couple of hours hiking around there.
And then today's drive so far. It's incredible how there's always just more and more different types of formations, different colors of soil. Now I've got some like yellows and grays. Was a really cool vista to see. It's unreal. It was a little difficult to enjoy getting hit with what feels like 50-60 mile an hour gusts of wind pushing you in the direction of the 1,000-foot cliff you're trying not to fall off of. Let's see if this is not and getting hit in the face with not just like sand and dust, but actual little bits of rock. Crazy wind. We're coming up on where I plan to spend the rest of the day exploring. This is an open, roadless area where cross-country travel is permitted, but very different from the roadless plies I've driven in the past. Even though there are no official roads and you're free to drive anywhere, you can see that trails tend to develop. Seemed intriguing to be able to just point the truck in any direction and drive, but this soft sloped soil is carved by deep and often impassable drainage ruts that are dangerously difficult to see until you're right on top of them. I know there are more compelling contours to be found out here, so I'm going to push up into a different area. I have to keep reminding myself that these are not roads, but simply the pathway multiple other people have driven. It seems like the safest approach, but they can get really off camber and you're blind to sometimes really steep drop-offs. I've decided to try again striking out across the terrain on my own, but this seemingly tame-looking hill got uncomfortably steep and narrow, and I can't see what happens over the top. And I'm just on one of the established trails. I can see how it'd be really easy to get yourself stuck in some little gully and just wedge yourself in. I'm going to be able to drive out of this, but
This is not the place for an overland vehicle. Definitely not the place to be out by yourself.
I had wanted to camp around here tonight and get footage of this massive, unusual butte at sunset and sunrise, but I'm honestly just not really enjoying driving out here, and the wind is the worst I've experienced all week. I'm going to again change up my itinerary and just move on immediately towards the area I had originally planned to explore and camp tomorrow. It's really a striking landscape out here, but seems that it's better explored via motorcycle or side-by-side.
So I'm trying to get to a spot I think that's going to get me closer to this canyon. Even this drive through the somewhat featureless desert out here is really nice. I'm enjoying this view of these massive, massive mountains in front of me. And I mean, I'm almost at 5,000 feet, so I can't even imagine what elevation those mountains get up to. And the desert itself, the colors are just vivid. It's orange, it's red. What green there is in the sagebrush here, it just pops against the pinky, orangey red sands.
And this desert really is sandy. It blows into drifts that pile up on the road like mini dunes.
I'm going to keep pushing on to the spot that I had in mind, and we'll see what it looks like. If it's not as epic, I could always come back here, because that view is just stunning. So man, that looks like quite the epic drive down in there, but all it's going to take is going around one corner and finding that a boulder has blocked the route, and there was no way to turn around, and very, very difficult to try and back up that. It's definitely the turnaround point here. So this is future me cutting in here real quick. I'm out on a later part of the adventure, which you will mostly see on Jared's channel, Backroad Exploration, but I just wanted to show you that we are down in the canyon below the campsite that I was trying to get to. It's right up above there and would have looked over all of this amazing
beautiful canyonscape that we've been seeing. But I'm gonna go back up the trail. I did see a little spot that looked like it might just have a little bit of protection. Doesn't have the view, but it might be a nice place to hunker down for the night. All right, so here's this sweet little campsite. The wind is coming from that direction, and there's this rock wall up here. I think you could probably just get right up in here. There's a little fire ring right there. Not that I'll be having a fire tonight. Now the canyon is up over this rim, so I've got no view for the rest of the day, but I have a lot less wind.
Well, I'm here to see this state, not hide from it. It would be a shame to let this incredible vista sit there unwatched. Even with the gusty winds, the sun has been hammering the truck all day, and it's a little warm and stuffy in here, so I'm going to put my newly installed fan to use. This will get hardwired eventually, but for now I'm just manually plugging it into my Jackery 1500 that rides here in the back of the truck. I generally charge my Jackery units at home before a trip, but if I need to top them up, I can easily do so off the truck while I'm driving during the day, ensuring that I always have all the power I need every night.
Would I like it if the wind was not blowing so hard? Yes, I would. Am I totally bummed out? No. I've got a beautiful view of the canyon. I've got a very comfortable place to sit here and enjoy it. And while I can't set up my stove and the table and all of that to cook, I'm just going to snack on some stuff that I've got.
Between skipping my first camping area on day one and then skipping camping at that butte yesterday, I'm now a full day ahead of schedule with nothing planned between now and tomorrow morning when I'll meet up with Jared and Mike. So today, I'm just gonna explore. Stay tuned for part 5 to see where I end up, and thank you for watching.